Well, hi folks, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. I can't believe I am 4 months in to the ownership of this Jaguar, the XJ8 3.2 Sport from 2002, and I've had a few conversations about it at recent car meetings that I've been to, so I thought, well, 4 months in, it's probably time just to do a bit of an update, a bit of a summary, sum up where we're up to with getting this car reliable. Where are things at? I think I left the last video with the brand new battery arriving here at OCC HQ and ready to be fitted, so I think probably we'll just do a quick catch up on what happened before that and then what's happened since that video went live. I'm going to combine this update on the Jaguar with a bit of a run out over to Oulton Park. It's a bit of a test day going on, so I thought, well, it's a nice day, let's go over there, have a look around, and while I'm there I'm going to talk a little bit about this 02 Jaguar XJ8. So let's go and see what's going on up there, and then I can tell you more about what I've been up to with this, and is the Jaguar reliable yet? Can I actually use it like a normal car? Well, hopefully that and more will be answered in this video coming up now. Okay, well, there's a brief hiatus while someone is untangled from the barriers. There's a red flag out there at the moment, so it's nice and quiet. So for the benefit of people who are new to the channel, this is a car that I bought 4 months ago, and very early on it became apparent that there were some electrical gremlins in the works. I'll just kind of go through this quickly. Quite often you'd start it up, drive a short way, sometimes even just up the drive, and it would go into sort of failsafe engine mode, limp home mode, and you'd just barely be able to move under its own steam. You would get ASC errors on the dash, track errors, gearbox fault and failsafe mode errors coming up on the dash. And I did spend quite a lot of time reading up all about this just to try and figure out what was going on. Fairly early doors it seemed that there was a pattern forming where that if you recharge the battery on the charger at home, maybe give it a really good going over maybe 1 or 2 days, really just to get the thing fully charged up, then it would be okay for a little while. Maybe the next trip out could be completed successfully and there'd be no breakdowns, anything like that. Come to it next time and again it would just coast to a halt, dashboard lit up, loads and loads of problems. So I went through earths. There was an earth under the car. I added a second earth underneath the car and also replaced an earth on the bonnet as well, because the bonnet earths to the main body of the car, which is quite unusual, but that's a feature on these cars. Cleaned up connectors on the throttle body, did all that. There's a pretty hefty electrical contact on the false bulkhead on the passenger side, so on this side just under the bonnet, so I cleaned that up. It looked alright, but I thought, well, you never really know. Now I bought a fantastic little diagnostic tool, and that told me, because you can check the live voltage, and it was sort of fluctuating, sort of mid 13 volts, that kind of thing, but it would drop off. If you had quite a lot of the accessories on, it would drop down. So I decided, right, let's change the alternator. So there is a separate video all about that on the channel, and if you like your V8 Jaguars, your X308s, then I would recommend maybe just have a look through some of the earlier Jaguar videos that I've done, just to get a feel for how we got to this point today. I think I finished off the last of the update videos with the arrival of the brand new battery, and I thought maybe that would improve everything, but I put it on. I think they're back out on track again, so I fitted the new battery hoping that that would cure things. Went to start it, and it wouldn't, as soon as you put it into gear, bang, all the lights came on the dash and it refused to move. So I thought, well, maybe it's just possible that, and this was with the new alternator already fitted, it's possibly the battery wasn't fully charged. So I gave it a good go for a couple of days on the charger at home, put it on, and that did seem to improve things for a while. And then it happened again. I double checked the voltage, the live voltage, and it was showing high 13s, low 14s, so the new alternator was working fine. And I also changed the belt at the same time. Reading around, there is one other procedure which I did find recommended. Now, I don't remember if this is on an XJ forum or one of the XK8 forums, which shares a very similar engine to this one. And it's called doing a hard reset. Now, the method of doing this varies from model to model, and you do have to be careful, because if you get it wrong, you could cause an almighty bang and fry pretty much everything electronic on the car. So rather than explain how to do it here and maybe get someone to get into problems by trying it and getting it wrong, I'll just say do a bit of research, have a read up, do a Google on the hard reset. It involves the connectors on the battery, and the idea being it fully flushes down any saved parameters that are stored in the various engine modules, traction modules, all those kind of things, because they are very heavily reliant on cars like this. This is 25-year-old technology, so heaven knows what it's like on a modern car. But if you do this hard reset, it flushes out any saved parameters that are stored somewhere in the car. And I thought, I've got to give this a try. And I'd read that people had had good results by trying to do this. So I thought, I can't really lose anything by doing it, so let's give that a go. So I gave it the hard reset, and then it says, fire it up and let it run for maybe 10, 15 minutes, something like that, just to give it a chance to learn its new engine parameters. It's a complete refresh. You can imagine switching off your computer, switching it back on again. It's a full reboot, effectively. So I let it run for about 10, 12 minutes, that kind of thing, and switched it off again. I also read on an XK8 forum that it's recommended that after doing a hard reset, as well as letting it run just to try and suss out all the trim levels, the fuel trim levels, that kind of thing, to turn the ignition on, don't start it, press the accelerator all the way down to the floor, back up again, all the way down to the floor, and back up again. And that is something that, again, was recommended on one of the Jag forums. So I've done that. So, new alternator, earth's checked and cleaned, new battery fully charged, and that is the important thing. Because, like I say, early doors, the trend was it kind of would behave itself on the old battery as long as it was fully charged up, and they are very, very temperamental if the battery isn't fully 100%. So, new battery on, fully charged, new alternator on, that's working, good live voltage readings. Did the hard reset, let it run for a while, do the throttle thing, and then put some miles on it. Now, I don't like to count my chickens before they're hatched, and I've learnt with cars like this and older cars not to get too excited. But since doing the hard reset and the battery and the alternator, it kind of seems to be working. Now, obviously, it's early doors, but I have done a number of trips out, and it often used to, for some reason, it often used to break down 5 or 6 miles into the trip. But lately, not so. Yes, I've actually been able to achieve a number of runs out. No failures, no error messages flashing up on the dash. And like I say, this is after 4 months of endless readings of Jaguar forums, manuals, how-to books, videos on YouTube even. So yeah, it's been quite a long road to get here, but I've done a few trips. I did a trip to go and have a look at a small collection of old lorries in North Shropshire, so I've been all around there. I've done the school run a couple of times. I went to Turnhill Hall in it, which is over in Shropshire near the airfield. That was a successful run out. But quite a few other trips as well, and touch wood, fingers crossed, it appears to be behaving. So 4 months in, this is where we're up to on the Jaguar. I'm pretty confident now that I can do any trip out that I want. The other evening we went over to the Swettenham Arms pub, just to put a few miles on it and just test it to see what it's like. And that did involve a fair bit of stop-start traffic as well, because it was around about rush hour, and I thought, well, this is a good test just to sort of see what it's like in traffic, standing in traffic, try and get the engine temps up under the bonnet and just see if anything starts to fail, because electronics can be quite temperamental and they really don't like heat very much at all. So we went over to Swettenham Arms, had a great meeting. It was actually really well attended, and we came back and I thought, I'll try the motorway. So we came back down the M6, 50, 60, 70-ish, and it behaved fine. It just rode beautifully, it drove beautifully, no error messages, no error codes, and yeah, so I think we are on the home straight with this. Now, one of the reasons for doing this particular video is we've spoken to a few people lately at some of the car shows. There's been a lot of car meetings that we've been to lately. A few people have asked for an update on the Jag and just saying, how's it doing? Is it actually working yet? Is it working? Can you actually use it? Or are you still getting all these error messages and error codes? So I thought, well, yeah, hopefully this series of short videos, well, not so short, but the series of videos on this Jaguar may just help a few other people with maybe similar problems that they're having with their XJ8s, X308 type, and also the related XK8s, I can't forget what the series number is now. Is it the X100s or the X150s? I can't quite remember now. But yeah, that's where we're up to with this old Jaguar. So thank you so much for watching this particular video. If you've got one of these old Jags, please chime in the comments. Let me know if you've had similar experiences and how you went about sorting the error codes that you've had on your car. Another potential area which I thought I might have to get into, but I haven't had to yet, is the ABS module. That sits on the near side front inner wing, and there are a couple of solder joints in there. Again, if you Google it, you'll see that there are a couple of solder joints which can start to go dry and lose their connection. So that is something that I was going to look at next, and if those same error codes, tracks, ABS, all that kind of thing come up again, and that's probably the next thing I'll try. But it would seem that having a battery fully up to oomph, and I've fitted, just for the record, I fitted a 100 amp battery this time. I think standard it was about 75, but I guess it was always a bit marginal. So I've put a 100 amp battery in it, same physical size, but just a lot more oomph, and that seems to have worked quite well. So if you're having some other problems, maybe go down the battery, get one of those diagnostic tools. That's the first thing you need to do, because you can reset error codes, you can test things, you can try things, and that does save you an awful lot of aggravation. But like with any old car, sometimes you just have to walk away and then come back to them next morning, because trust me, there are many times I was quite tempted to go and drive this down to Beachy Head and push it off the edge. I was that fed up of it. But yeah, just walk away, come back to it, and then see how you go from there. But yeah, diagnostic tool, clean up lots of connections, new battery, new alternator, hard reset, and then let it run a bit, and then use it. It needs using. This car's done barely 100 miles a year for the last few years. So yeah, anyway, I think I've probably gone on long enough, but that's where we're up to with the old Jag. So thanks so much for watching. Please consider subbing if you like this kind of content, if you've got one of these, or if you just like old cars in general. And there'll be many, many more videos along very, very soon. And I can see cars are back on the track again, so this is probably a great time to wind this one up. So bye for now. We'll see you again soon. I guess it'd be rude not to have a quick walk around the paddock just in case there's something interesting here. And do I spy one of Abingdon's finest over there just near that pickup truck? Yep, very smart MGB Roadster over here. Chrome bumpers, slightly larger diameter, mini-light wheels compared to what would have been fitted as standard. Probably the same wheels as on Dad's MGB GT actually. Yeah, it's a lovely looking car. Brooklands green, unless I'm much mistaken. Different interior, I'm not sure it would have had the cream interior. Got a few extras on the dash as well. But a super clean, super sharp looking car, that one. Quite a few Mark 1 MX-5s are out and about testing today here at Oulton Park. So it'd be rude to not come and have a closer look, including this one in our favourite colour of bright yellow, just like our little car back at base. A number of Alfa Romeos over here, including this 33 about to be unloaded. 156 over there. So many Mark 1s, this is where they all go when they start disappearing off the road and in regular use. This is where a lot of them end up, I think. I had to come and have another look at this Citroën Acadian. This is often parked over here. I'm thinking maybe it belongs to one of the marshals, but it's the first time I've seen it liveried up in MSV and Oulton Park decals. It's got a bit of Dunlop and Castrol advertising on the back as well. But yeah, it's great. This is. Looks really, really original. Doesn't look like it's ever been restored. Just kept on the road and in use. It's a left-hand drive. And of course it shares its front-end styling with the Citroën Diane road car, but this is the Fourgonette, I think that's how you pronounce it. The van version, same with the 2C V-base van. There we go, Acadian. Yeah, what a great little van that is. I had one of these years and years ago. Still had its original sign writing for a Parisian plumber. It's one of those cars, one of quite a few that have sort of been and gone, but you kind of wish you'd hung on to. And every time I see this, I think of that old van. I think it went up to the top of Scotland when I sold it eventually. But yeah, it would have been a great little run around. Say a left-hand drive. Windows. Luxury of luxuries. So the Diane, I think, was meant to be a slightly more civilised version of, or replacement for, the 2CV, but it never really happened. So the 2CV carried on in production. And the Diane and the Cadian kind of just disappeared. Oh, what a great old survivor that is.